In a world that worships noise, the quiet man becomes a mystery, and mystery commands respect. Have you ever noticed how some men don't need to raise their voice, don't need to argue, don't need to threaten anyone, and still, everyone listens when they speak? That's not luck. That's not intimidation. That's psychological power, because real strength isn't about being louder. It's about being centered when everyone else is losing control. Don Vito Corleone, the Godfather, understood this better than anyone. He ruled empires not through rage but through restraint. His calm wasn't weakness, it was a message. I am not here to impress you. I am here to be respected. When you master calmness, something happens. People start to second-guess their reactions around you. They slow their tone, they measure their words, because deep down they feel it. The calm man sees everything. The truth is, most people confuse calmness with passivity. They think being peaceful means being powerless. But calmness, when mastered, becomes one of the most dangerous forms of control. It's not about suppressing emotion, it's about weaponizing it. It's not about being silent, it's about making silence speak for you. And today, we're going to uncover the hidden psychology behind that power, how Don Corleone used quiet authority to dominate every room he entered, and how you can do the same in your daily life. Because respect isn't something you ask for, it's something you emanate. Before we begin, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments, do you think calmness makes a man weak or untouchable? By the end of this video, you'll understand why the loudest man in the room is never the one in control, and how mastering your composure will make people treat you differently, even fear disappointing you. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change the way you walk into every room from now on. Most men today confuse being heard with being respected. They think, if they talk louder, react faster, or look tougher, people will take them seriously. But that's not how power works. You see it everywhere, in workplaces, in relationships, in families. The man who overreacts, who tries to prove his worth in every conversation, ends up losing it. Because the moment you need to prove power, you've already lost it. Respect isn't granted to the one who speaks first. It's granted to the one who doesn't need to speak at all. That's why some people can walk into a room and instantly shift the atmosphere. They don't announce themselves, they don't demand attention, they simply command it. Meanwhile, most people waste their energy trying to be liked, to be understood, to explain themselves, and they wonder why no one listens. Because the world doesn't respect desperation, it respects discipline. And that's where most of us fall into the same trap. We think calmness means doing nothing, when in truth, calmness is the ultimate active control. It's the ability to keep your inner world steady when everyone else is losing theirs. Think about it. How many times have you said something in anger, only to regret it later? How many times have you lost influence because you reacted instead of responded? Every outburst teaches the world that you're easy to provoke. Every emotional reaction gives someone else the remote control to your mind. That's why Don Vito Corleone was different. He understood that real dominance doesn't come from intimidation. It comes from immunity. He never allowed anyone to see him lose composure, because once you do, you lose authority. In The Godfather, even his enemies feared his silence. When he stayed quiet, it wasn't peace, it was pressure. They knew something was being decided, and that decision would be final. So here's the uncomfortable truth. The reason most people struggle to be respected isn't because they lack confidence. It's because they lack control. They react when they should observe. They speak when they should wait. They chase when they should attract. And until you fix that, until you learn to be calm under pressure, you'll keep giving away the very respect you're trying to earn. In the next part, we'll step into the Godfather's world and see how Don Corleone built an empire of loyalty and fear without ever raising his voice. Because to understand his psychology, you have to understand the man behind the mask of calm. Before he became the Godfather, Vito Corleone was just a boy named Vito Andolini, born in Sicily, surrounded by blood and silence. His father was murdered, his mother was murdered, and at that moment, he learned the first law of power. The world doesn't listen to your pain, it listens to your presence. He escaped to America with nothing but a name and a scar the world couldn't see, the kind that doesn't fade, the kind that teaches you to watch, to wait, to think before you move. Years later, in the streets of New York, surrounded by noise, chaos, and crime, Vito built something no one else could: respect without violence. He didn't become powerful because he was ruthless. He became powerful because he was calculated. While other men shouted, he observed. While others reacted, he planned. And when he finally spoke, his words carried the weight of 10 men's threats. That's the paradox of Don Corleone. He ruled a world of violence through non-violence. He showed that fear can be inspired not by aggression, but by composure. There's a scene every student of power should study. A man begs for help on the day of Corleone's daughter's wedding. The man speaks in desperation, in emotion. He talks about justice, revenge, dignity. Corleone listens quietly, expressionless, and then, in a voice calm enough to chill your blood, he says, "You never invited me to your home. You never called me Godfather, but now that you need me, you come to me for justice." No shouting, no threats, just calm judgment and absolute control. That moment defines his psychology. He doesn't seek fear, he seeks order, and order can't exist where emotion rules. Corleone understood that leadership isn't about forcing obedience. It's about creating emotional gravity. People orbit around calm men the way planets orbit stars. Not because the star moves, but because everything else does. His calm wasn't a mask, it was armor. Every pause was a calculation. Every silence was strategy. Because when you speak less, people project more onto you. They wonder what you're thinking. They feel the weight of their own guilt, their own fear. That's the psychological brilliance of Don Corleone. He didn't control others through punishment. He controlled them through anticipation, and that's what made him untouchable. He never reacted to the world's chaos. He made the world react to him. But there's something deeper beneath that calm, something most people never see. Because behind every controlled man, there's a reason he had to learn control. In the next chapter, we'll uncover the psychological revelation of Don Corleone, the inner transformation that turned his pain into precision and his silence into power. Don Vito Corleone wasn't calm because he was naturally peaceful. He was calm because he had seen what chaos costs. He had lost everything once, his family, his home, his innocence, and he understood a truth that psychology confirms. When you've lived through real pain, you stop reacting to small provocations. That's what makes calmness so terrifying. It comes from a man who has already survived storms louder than your threats. In psychology, this state is known as emotional dominance. It's the ability to maintain internal control no matter the external chaos, to stay grounded when others are triggered, and in doing so to take control of the emotional tone of the room. That's the secret few ever realize. In every social interaction, someone sets the emotional temperature, and the one who stays calm controls the climate. Corleone didn't just control situations, he controlled states. His tone, his pace, his stillness, all of it trained others to slow down, to match him, to operate on his timeline. He made others adapt to his rhythm, and that's what real power is. When you rush, you reveal anxiety. When you react, you reveal weakness. When you stay calm, you force the world to reveal itself first. That's why calm men seem unpredictable. They give no cues. And unpredictability, according to behavioral psychology, triggers deference and fear. People would rather please a silent authority than provoke an unknown consequence. Corleone's calm wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. It was a form of psychological framing. He defined reality by defining reaction. If he was calm, it meant the situation was under control, his control. Think about it. When a leader stays composed in a crisis, followers feel safe. When that same leader panics, everyone else collapses. The one who controls emotion controls perception, and perception is reality. That's why his silence felt like judgment. It created tension, anticipation, uncertainty, all powerful psychological levers. People feared disappointing him more than they feared punishment, because his approval meant validation, and his disapproval meant exile. This is what makes the calm man dangerous. He doesn't threaten, he doesn't argue, he simply decides. And that decisiveness, wrapped in serenity, becomes something close to divinity. Corleone's power wasn't in his words, it was in what he withheld. Every restraint built authority, every moment of silence increased mystery, and mystery, in psychology, equals status, because people don't respect what they fully understand. They respect what they can't quite read. So the next time you think staying calm means being passive, remember this. Don Corleone ruled because no one could tell what he was thinking, and that uncertainty became his greatest weapon. But knowing how calmness works, isn't enough. You have to use it. In the next chapter, we'll translate Don Corleone's philosophy into practical laws you can apply in daily life. Laws that will make you appear more composed, more respected, and far harder to manipulate. Because calmness isn't just peace, it's precision. Don Vito Corleone didn't build power through cruelty. He built it through composure. Every look, every pause, every silence was deliberate. Because when you control yourself, you control the frame. And when you control the frame, you control the game. Let's break down the 4 laws that made his calmness so powerful and how you can use them today. Law 1. Never compete in chaos. When the world gets loud, the calm man wins. Corleone never argued, never rushed into noise. While others panicked, he observed, and that distance gave him clarity. In psychology, this is known as contrast authority. When everyone loses control, the one who stays grounded becomes the automatic leader. Most people fight to be heard. Corleone made silence his weapon, because silence turns chaos into theater, and he was always the director. Application. In conflict, lower your tone instead of raising it. When everyone talks fast, slow down. When emotions rise, breathe before you speak. You'll instantly shift the emotional hierarchy, and people will adjust to your pace. Law 2. Control. Emotion, control perception. Power isn't about domination, it's about direction. The one who steers emotion steers the outcome. Corleone didn't just stay calm for himself. He stayed calm to manipulate perception. His stillness made people project strength onto him, and projection is one of psychology's oldest tools of influence. When others don't understand your reaction, they assume it's intentional, and assumption creates myth. Application. When you feel anger or fear, don't suppress it, redirect it. Take 3 seconds before speaking. In those 3 seconds, you reclaim control of perception, because once you choose your emotional state, no one else can choose it for you. Law 3. Speak less, mean more. Corleone's words carried weight because they were rare. He didn't speak to fill silence. He spoke to shape it. Every phrase sounded like a verdict. Every pause demanded attention. That's the psychology of scarcity. What's rare becomes valuable. When you speak less, people listen more. Application. Stop explaining every thought. When you make a decision, stand by it. Let people interpret your silence. The mind hates uncertainty. It will fill the blanks with power. Law 4. Boundaries create respect. Corleone didn't ask for respect. He designed it. His calm was never submission. It was warning. He never chased approval, and that made others seek his. In relationships, in business, in leadership, boundaries are silent declarations of worth. They tell the world, you can approach me, but not cross me. People mistake calm men for harmless ones, but true calmness doesn't mean tolerance. It means you've already decided what's worth your reaction. Application. Stop reacting to everything. Reserve your energy for things that matter. When someone crosses a line, enforce a consequence once, and never explain it twice. You'll teach others that your calm has limits, and that's where respect begins. Calmness isn't inaction, it's control. Every pause, every breath, every moment of silence is a psychological signal. I am not at your mercy. You are at mine. Don Corleone didn't need to show dominance. He radiated it. Because in a world built on noise, the man who stays calm doesn't just stand out, he stands above. But calmness doesn't just change how people see you, it changes how you see yourself. In the next part, we'll explore the transformation that happens when you stop chasing approval and start commanding respect. When you become the calm man everyone looks to for direction and no one dares to test. When you start mastering calmness, something begins to shift, not outside you but within you. You stop reacting to every small offense, you stop chasing validation, you stop needing to prove your worth through noise, and suddenly, the world reacts differently. People begin to lower their voices around you. They think twice before interrupting. They start respecting your time, not because you demanded it, but because your energy now carries weight. That's the paradox of calmness. The less you fight for respect, the more respect you attract. Because calm, energy signals certainty, and certainty is magnetic. When you're calm, people sense that you've seen chaos before and survived it. They can feel that your mind doesn't break under pressure, that you don't flinch when things go wrong. And that kind of composure is rare in a world addicted to reaction. This is how quiet men rise, Not by force, not by manipulation, but by self-mastery. Don Corleone embodied that truth. He understood that power isn't about how others see you, it's about how deeply you believe in your own steadiness. And when you operate from that belief, you no longer chase control. You are control. Every decision becomes cleaner, every word becomes sharper, every silence becomes stronger. That's what people misunderstand about calmness. It's not passivity, it's precision. It's choosing what deserves your energies and what doesn't. It's knowing that emotional reactions are gifts you no longer hand out for free. When you reach that state, you gain something that no money, status, or fame can buy. Psychological freedom. The freedom to walk into any room and never feel small. The freedom to be tested and stay unshaken. The freedom to know that respect isn't given by others. It's enforced by your presence. That's what becoming a calm man really means. It's not about being detached. It's about being deliberate. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them so completely that they serve your purpose, not sabotage it. And the irony? When you master your emotions, you stop needing to manipulate anyone else's. People simply adjust to your stillness because your calm becomes their compass, your silence becomes their mirror, and your composure becomes your crown. That's the transformation Don Corleone represents. Not a man without feeling, but a man whose feelings no longer rule him. He knew that peace isn't found in isolation. It's found in dominance over yourself. And once you reach that point, the world bends to your rhythm. But the transformation isn't complete until you protect it, because every calm man will be tested by noise, by ego, by manipulation. And in the final chapter, we'll reveal how to defend your peace while maintaining your power, how to live like Corleone without ever becoming a tyrant. In the end, Don Vito Corleone teaches us a law that every man must learn if he wants real power. Those who master peace, master people. Because the truth is simple, the world doesn't respect those who are loud. It respects those who are unmoved. The calm man doesn't seek control, he embodies it. He doesn't react to disrespect. He lets silence deliver the consequence. He doesn't chase recognition. He makes recognition chase him. That's why people followed Corleone. Not out of fear of punishment, but out of fear of disappointment. Because calm authority carries something no amount of anger can achieve: dignity. And dignity, once earned, makes others instinctively treat you differently. They sense your inner boundary, that invisible line that says, "You can approach me but not shake me." That's what psychological dominance looks like. It's not physical, it's not verbal, it's energetic. It's the quiet realization that respect flows toward the one who doesn't need it. So remember this: every time you react, you surrender power. Every time you stay calm, you reclaim it. Because the calm man doesn't fight for control, he becomes the standard that others adapt to. The irony of Don Corleone's legacy is that his silence spoke louder than violence ever could. His words were rare because he understood something most people never will. The louder you speak, the less people listen. But the quieter you become, the more they lean in. And that's why his power endures as a symbol, not of crime but of composure. Because every empire, every relationship, every negotiation runs on one principle: the man who can't be provoked can't be defeated. That's the real mask of power. Not intimidation, not cruelty, but calmness so unshakable that it turns into command. So here's your challenge. The next time someone tries to trigger you, don't respond. Observe, breathe, let the silence work for you. Because every reaction they expect from you is a string they want to pull, and you just cut it. That's how you take back control. That's how you stop seeking respect and start radiating it. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe calmness is a form of weakness or the ultimate proof of strength? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this video helped you see power differently, subscribe, because next time we'll uncover another law of psychology hidden in the world's most fascinating minds. Until then, remember, stay strategic, stay aware, stay powerful.